It's like a overnight thing. Just as soon as they found out, and I'm like, well, that's not very genuine. So at that point, I just started cutting loose. And when I started making music in 2006, I just ended up I ended up being able to excel because I wasn't being held back by thoughts of a community that might not accept me or the music I was making because I'm not a part of the cult per se. And they like, man, forget your music. You atheists, we can't rock with you no more. I was like, well, if you ain't gonna rock with me, I'm gonna rock with me. And that from there, just and and I was really fortunate because I went on a campaign of trying to understand and hear people's stories and their perspectives on um, discovering how their life has been as an atheist. And
Back in Jesus.
I watched, yeah, I've watched a lot of people, and I came across Bar's channel, and I'm like, I like how raw he is with this. Like this, it's like how people should be talked to because a lot of theists just keep getting it. They just keep getting the watered down version, the oh, it's gonna be okay version, and nah, like this stuff, this stuff,
Said word.
like this has done some serious damage to communities the world over, and somebody got to say it. It got to be said, and just like that, when I found that Bar does music as well, and I listened to it, and I was like, oh, I would kill for a collab with him. And here we are today. It's just like I'm just so I'm honored to have been able to
Yeah,
be a part of it.
that's super amazing. It leads me to a question. Maybe everybody can kind of chime in here. Pros and cons of working with somebody else, if assuming you have an opinion on it, and what would you like what would you like to see in the future in terms of more collabs?
So my thing with collabs, because I done my first 2 projects was straight collab. And so I like the challenge of being able to, because I swear I can rap on any beat. So I like the challenge of being able to like
Naturally.
test myself. And so I'm like, I know that I can add value to whatever you email, whatever link, whatever beat, whatever song you send me. I'm gonna add value to it. I'm gonna feed off of you. Whatever energy you put into it, I'm gonna listen to your verse 50 times. I'm like, I know exactly what he need me to do. I gotta do my part. And so the challenge of being able to like add to what the other artists, like what they vision for what they wanted to sound like, what they need you to say. You can't, because a lot of people, that'd be like the main thing with features, man. Look, I hope he don't, so I be trying to, like, the challenge is like, I want to make sure I'm bringing to the table what they need for this song to sound exactly how they want it to sound. And that'd be my biggest, I wouldn't say it's like a con, but it's like a challenge. Like, okay, challenge accepted. I'm trying.
So in this group here, correct me if I'm wrong, the person here that has the experience working with a group, like being on tour, is you, Brady, right? Like you were part of a group that, like, some of the stuff that I saw, some of your old videos, is like multiple singers, and you have like this Christian label thing. Is that true? And then when you kind of went and did some solo stuff, could you tell me a little bit about how the difference? And you're still a Christian, so you can even be Christianese about this. Was it directed by God? Did you think? Was it going out on your own because Jesus led you, or what?
Well, so my story is a little weird because in some sense I was always a soloist, even though I was part of a group. So the guys that I was with a unit called the Cross Movement. We came together in 95, 96, and all of us were trying to, you probably don't even need to know this part of the history, but we were all part of individual groups that broke up around the same time. but we kind of remained a unit. And around that time in hip hop, you had all these like super groups of soloists who would band together. So whether it was Leaders of the New School or Wu-Tang, or there was always just a huge group of people, and all of them can say, no, I'm a soloist, but you always see me with these people. So when my group got together, we were soloists that just kept showing up together. And so when we would do what people saw as group albums, we say, no, we're not a group. This is a compilation. So even on our group albums, we did 6 or 7 group albums. On those group albums, we each would do like 3 songs a piece, 3 solo songs a piece, and then we'll do 3 songs together and we'll call it a compilation. So even though people see us as a group, we never saw ourselves that way. But to what Bar was saying, it seems like you take the idea of coupling on a track, you take that as a challenge to yourself, which is interesting because most rappers that I know be on some J. Cole shit. Like, if I'm on a track with you, my aim is to body you. Like, it ain't about what can I add to the track? How can I make the song better? It's about when they hit. And even as a Christian, I think when I was doing songs with people in my group or with other rappers, there was still that pride that was like, when they hear this, I want them to be able to say, crown fanatic, crown him. He killed this. And so even as a Christian, I had that competitive nature with my pen.
How about you, Graydon? Did you ever do anything with a group or multiple artists where there was maybe a little bit of this personality, either conflict or collab that you felt really great about, or not at all, or mostly on your own? Or
yeah, I mean, I think even to B Good's point, like I feel like a lot of people will take on the sort of approach of, I want to win the track. I tell my students that all the time. If you're on any track, your goal is to win the track.
Yeah.
I don't care who you're on a track with. You could be the greatest of all time. It could be the worst of all time. Your job, I don't care if you're on a track with a fellow student, a battle buddy, a homie, your goal is to win the track. And so that's something that I learned from my seafood in this. And ultimately I pass it down to my students. So
because if both people come to it with that mindset, it makes the track better.
Absolutely. If everybody on the track has that mindset, it's going to be dope.
Yeah.
I also feel like to that point, though, I also feel like you can tell when somebody on the track doesn't have that mindset.
Exactly.
Right.
Because the collaborative process sometimes is meant to not be competitive. Y'all just want to chill, catch a vibe and, not have it so cutthroat where your swords are out. But in most situations, I got my sword with me. If you even go for your sword in any way, shape, or form,
right,
I'm going for mine.
Your wordplay, your punchline, whatever I'm like, okay, I see how you come in. So that's why I appreciate what Bar is saying, because I'm like, man, to challenge me instead of challenging the other artists, that would have been a completely different approach to it.
Yeah.
Just to be clear, this is not a shot at Cappadonna, is it?
No, he's probably the worst member of any group ever, but I'm not thinking about him at all.
When you were talking about making the track better, everybody competing for the best role, I just I'm glad to hear that, because I always felt like Cappadonna, what's going on there? You know what I mean? Like,
especially with what Wu-Tang's aim was, like their tongues are swords and everybody's trying to chop down the next member. How did he make the cut? I have no idea.
You did. This was worth the call alone, dude. Oh my God, thank you, Jesus.
I'm curious. You didn't like that Pillage album? That first Cappadonna Pillage album?
So, I'm gonna be honest with you. I never listened to it because I hated him on everything else. And I was gonna say this when you were saying that before, Graydon. The part about the thing about getting on a track with somebody and always shining, no matter who it is you're working with, is you never know when you could lose or gain a fan. And so the times I heard Cappadonna, he never pulled me in. So I wasn't going to give him the time of day to listen to an album of what I don't like anyway.
Okay.
I could have missed out, but it's his fault if I did.
Dude, all I could think of is I love you like I love my dick size. Like that's the fucking Capadonna line. Just sticks in my head. Oh my god. Anyway, sorry.
All right, let's go
I'm
down to
glad
the
we cleared
bottom.
this up, though.
What do you got to say on that?
I thought everybody was nice in the woo just by association. I'm in Oklahoma. They're gonna be here on the 16th, so shout out to that. Might slide out there.
Have you worked?
on New York
Have you
rap.
worked with? Have you worked with a lot of people like what you're doing with Bar, or is this more of a newer experience?
Yeah, I would actually say I got a lot of features. I just actually put a feature album out with my bro. So yeah, that's mostly what I do. Even though the name, don't take the name seriously. I don't want people to, you know what I mean, think I'm just.
Well, fair enough. Before we get to our new edition passage, can you answer the same question? Have you worked with people in the past similar to what you're doing with Bar now, or is this more of a newer experience? And what are your comments on that, either conflict or where you help each other do better? Like iron sharpens iron, or no?
Yeah, definitely. Where I am right now, I'm actually I'm far out with my squad, like a newly formed team, a collective, and we're working on a group project. And a lot of the times, I've done several features and several collaborations over the time, but a lot of things that I noticed with people new that I do collaborations with. Well, it depends on them as an artist in particular, but a lot of times they'll try to like they'll get inspired depending on how hard you come on the song, especially if they've never heard you before and don't really know you like that. So a lot of times someone will have a song, a verse open, and they'll go first and then jot, and then I'll go second, and they play the song back and be like, you know what, I think I'm gonna rewrite my verse because nah. And that's the type of thing I like. Like if you go back to rewrite your verse, that's good for two reasons. Because then you were inspired to make something, and then you got on the other side of the coin, the arrogant ones who will be like the verse ain't up to par and they know it's not, but they won't keep it just because they don't want it to seem like they got killed on their own song. So it's like it's iron sharpens iron, but sometimes ego gets in the way, and that's one of the challenges to work through in artistry. So that would be that would be my input for it.
All right, let's jump down to the bottom. Oh, well, go ahead, Bar, and then we'll jump below you.
I was gonna add something to this whole thing because Be Good said something about like the compilation where like we do songs together, but everybody got like 3 songs. It's like them by themselves. And if you go, my first 2 projects, both of them was with Blatant Blatheist. He couldn't be here with us tonight, different time zone. But my first 2, we did that exact thing on both of my our mixtapes that we did together. We did that exact thing, and it was like you knew the other person was gonna come hard on their solo tracks, so you got to make sure it's like a healthy competition. Like, man, look, I know. I would hear the songs he come up with. I'm texting him like, bro, I wish you would have put me on this song. it's like I'm like when I hear somebody else make a bomb ass song, I'm also like, damn it, I wish he would have put me on that. How dare you leave me off that? That's too hard for me not to be on that. So it's like that. I think that like being able to do the compilation thing that really helps with like what we talking about, the whole like that I know I gotta come hard because my bro he trying to put all he got, and then you got to think about what we rapping about and who we're rapping to, and when you add those 2 things together, man, look, it's a lot of fire, a lot of passion, a lot of fuel into like Atheist rapping for sure.
All righty. Jay says I think when you rap in a group, you put the competition aside and enjoy creating together. I think a lot of rappers would benefit from being in a band. I think there's some truth to this about collabing in a way where everybody wants everybody to do good. So I think both things can maybe be true, that you're always trying to kind of you want to you want to be the top guy, like you want to rule, but you also want the other guy to do amazing.
Yeah.
I think obviously it's a little bit different when you're say in a band, because if you're the drummer, like you're the drummer, like who are you competing against? Just yourself, right? But if you're if you have two people that are lead singers or rappers, then obviously you're comparing singing to singing, as opposed to, it's not like the guitar player is going to look at the drummer and say, hey, you're not playing the guitar as good as me, because he's not playing a guitar, right? So I think that maybe is the difference I see, anyways, the non-musician that I am. Let's get down before we go anywhere else. Let's introduce our last guest here, MC Brain Freeze, otherwise known as Volsi Thoughts. You and I have worked together on some stuff, dealing with Christian apologetics and slavery and a lot of issues. And you and I have some other stuff planned for the future. You're one of those like little teeny channels on YouTube that I just love, because you're smart, you're intelligent, and I'd like to see you get out there and share your stuff. Tell us about your relationship to hip hop rap. And you're also a PK, right?
I am a PK. Yeah.
Okay. So
what's PK stand for?
Pastor's kid.
Yeah, pastor's kid. Well, somebody else just said they were a PK, right? Wasn't that you, Top?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So, well, I'm a PK as well. My mom was a pastor, so that seems to be a common thing with people that get in this space and want to talk about this stuff. We were often groomed to be leaders, pastors, and speakers. So, go ahead and tell us a little bit. Were you introduced to music as you were being groomed to be a Christian leader, or did that come later?
Well, I was already like I was born in the 80s, right? So the first rap song I remember ever hearing was Brenda's Got a Baby. Like I think that came out in like 1992. That was the first rap song I ever heard, and I'm like, what is this? Yeah, I mean, because it sounds like how everyone around me speak. Yeah, you see what I mean? So that was the first time I was actually introduced to a rap I could remember. I'm pretty sure rap was playing around me before, but that's the first one I actually could remember. You know what I mean? And ever since then, I've been a fan of Tupac. Ever since then, R.I.P. But being in the church, being groomed to be like the leader, because how it is in the church, the men are going to be the leaders. You feel me? And the fact that I was a pastor's kid, people would come to my church, all the time, and we would see like rappers come up to the church. You know what I mean? There was always like people visiting and stuff like that, and there was always I was in a choir. First of all, I was in the tenor, and there were always rappers. People, the drummer in my church. You mentioned the drummer. The drummer in my church was actually a rapper. Everything like that. So I was one of those kids. I was quiet and I was bookish, which is where the term brain comes from. Because we were all like used to watch that show Arthur, and one of the characters was named Brain, and people were like, "Hey, he's a smart guy who wears glasses." I used to wear glasses when I was a kid. Like, let's just call him Brain. And even now to today, like all my friends from back then, they still call me the Brain. That's just been my name ever since then. I'm the Brain. And when I first wanted to rap, I wanted to rap because I said, this is the best way to spread the message. You know what I mean? Because everybody in my all my peers were listening to rap. Of course, this was around 2002, 2003, 2005 time. The album that came out that lit a fire panic on everybody was the Carter, Lil Wayne. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, I was listening to that song. I was listening to that album just today. I listened to the Carter. Amazing album, amazing piece of work. So I wanted to kind of be the Christian Lil Wayne. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So like I got to come up with a name. I'm going to be the Christian Lil Wayne. You know what I mean? I said, you know what? Everyone calls me Brain. Everyone knows what a brain freeze is. So I said, all right, everyone is not going to call me MC Brain Freeze. You know what I mean? That was going to be my rap name. And I still remember the first rap I ever wrote. So
I'm curious real quick. What year was this?
This was in the 2000s, early 2000s. 2000.
And you had MC as part of your name?
I had MC as part of my name.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, AC as part of my name. I call myself MC Brain because it's just gonna be Brain Freeze. So I just said, let me call myself MC Brain Freeze. That people could get it, people could understand it. And I still remember the first rap that I ever wrote. Corny, so corny. Yeah, I mean, I rapped it to my wife the other day, and she laughed her pants off that about it.
Hey,
So it's like,
you came late. You came late before you got here. Everybody rapped their first rap song a cappella. So go.
all right, how was it again? I still remember the first 4 bars. I said, my name is Brain. I got God on my blood and Jesus on my skin. My life is full of sin, so I know I'm hell bound. Can't wait till that day when them trumpets sound. Until that day, all I gotta do is pray. I don't need an AK-47 to go to heaven. Y'all just love sinning. I don't know what the point of all this killing. And that's all I remember. That's it.
So Michael Beverly is going to go to hell for lying to you just now.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I'm already hellbound, and
Pretty
it
sure we're already
doesn't
there.
matter to me. I don't make a sound. I just like to rhyme because I'm white, and I do it all night.
As you can see, very corny. Very,
Yeah.
very corny.
Well, I mean, that's probably the first of everybody's. That's a good segue. Let's just start at the top and just go around in a circle. Give a little story of your first writing that's embarrassing. Like, go ahead and embarrass yourself.
gosh.
Start with you, Buck.
Oh my God. So, oh yeah, here you go. All right. So I was like 12 and I had like a stereo with a tape deck. I don't know if you guys remember. It's like this plastic thing. It's about this big and has this brown piece of magnet. Anyway, you're stupid. I didn't have a mic, but you could use your headphones, like the little, those like little, you basically use as an antenna. And so that was the mic. And I was rapping over, it was Onyx and Dr. Dre. Cause like those were like the instrumentals I somehow had, I think from like a B-side of another tape. And I go, it was like, what's up like that? My voice basically sounds like it does now. I was like, what's up like that? What's up like this? You get a fine girl and then you get dissed for some other guy who didn't have a chance in our lives. I thought we had romance. It's like, what the fuck, dude?
You
And
Oh
I
my
still
gosh.
rap, actually.
you were real cute when you were young.
Yeah. Yeah. a couple
Okay,
years ago.
Oh, man.
let's shift over to Great. And what story about your first learning to write lyrics and stuff? And feel free to embarrass yourself, brother.
So I don't think any of it's really embarrassing because I always look at it as sort of a progression on a timeline, and that shit happens to be the beginning. I do remember the first couple of bars that I wrote though. I think I said something like, and can we cuss on here?
Yeah.
Cuss on here?
Yeah,
I think I
fuck
said
yeah.
something like, I'm coming hard as fuck like advanced mathematics, busting holes, calculating foes like Final Fantasy Tactics.
Nice.
Way to be modest. He's like,
That's
it's
funny.
pretty
Yeah.
good. This is my smart
That was the
line.
first thing I ever wrote. I was a day before my 18th birthday, and I just got put in the box because I just got into a fight in juvie hall. All we were allowed was a little thing of paper and a little pencil, and that was it. And that was what I wrote. And
Wow.
I thought
Well,
that was
I
it. I
mean-
thought all I needed. I really thought all I needed was 2 bars. I didn't know I needed more shit. You know.
You need
Yeah,
To be
16.
fair, those are the only 2 bars you need.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's pretty butt now. I don't know if that's anything passing the smell test these days, but you know, as for a 17, 18-year-old me in what 1998,
Wow.
yeah,
Hey, look, if you don't want them, I'll take them.
you're gonna have them. You're gonna have them. I never used.
You guys
that,
heard it.
so
You guys
You're
heard it.
gonna re-record. You're gonna re-release that.
you're more
All right,
than
let's-
welcome to that, dog.
Let's drop down to bar. Say you got you now. I admit here you got to what you have to follow up on here is great and set a high bar.
Yeah.
Well, I
No.
only rap 2 bars though, so it's the pressure is, if anything, is just on whatever the first 2 bars you wrote, because I don't remember anything else after that.
My first time ever realizing I could rap, I was in the 4th grade, and the principal at the school, she had me come up with a multiplication rap. And so my very first rap I made, we went to a studio and recorded it. It was like 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2, 2, 3, like, and we just rapped all the multiplication, and like they would play it through the intercom, like at the school.
Sick.
Wow.
Like in triplets,
thought-
dude.
I thought it was cold. I don't know what everybody else thought, but my song was being played around the
Yeah.
school on the intercom, and I was like in the 4th or 5th grade. You could, I mean, come
Yo,
on.
Yeah,
how
do
much
you-
ass you get though, dude? Keep it real.
You're a star at 9 years old. Jeez. Well, that's actually a good way to learn. I remember listening to the Schoolhouse Rock, conjunction junction. What's your function? And then you learn that I mean, that is a really good way to learn and to teach kids different things.
I have background singers and everything. Like, come on.
Nice.
when we got to the number 3, the girls in the back was like, the 3s are coming, and I'd be like, it's the 3.
Threes are coming.
I got
geez.
$50. I got $50 on a copy of that, dude.
Well, yeah, it's probably
Studio,
archived somewhere.
Real studio, real microphone with the like the soundproof. I mean, it was a whole 9 yards.
Nice. All right, Brady, you're up. What? Give us a memory.
Oh my gosh.
See, just get me.
I was trying to think of one. I'm trying to. I had an old song. I was always conceptual, so I had a song called "Highway to Heaven." One of my first songs that I wrote, "Highway to Heaven," and I'm talking about Jesus like a car. I'm getting in this car and going to heaven. One of the lines in the song says something like, because Dodge, Chrysler, Ford can't do the job like Christ the Lord, and something like that.
That's smoking hot.
That's pretty sick, though, dude.
No, I mean, I was always big on wordplay, but I'll embarrass myself before I do one of those. Like one of my first ones that I remember, me and the guy that I lied to, and I told him that I did Christian rap. He and I were going back and forth in this song, and I don't know why I wrote this. I'm not proud of this at all. I'm literally going to embarrass myself when I say this. I wrote this, and he rapped the part, and then I answered him with another part. His line said something, rapping as a homosexual. Well, it's my body. I was born this way. So how can I help it if I was born gay? And then I answered him saying, well, I was born into sin, but I've been born again. And unless you've got Christ, there's no way you can win. And I thought that was just the hottest line at the time. So,
but in that world, it was, and it still would be probably in a lot of places. You know what I mean?
It would.
In that paradigm.
In MAGA world, I'm sure.
Yeah, they'd be saying, brother, you're helping to save people. God bless you. God bless you. All right, let's slide over to Passage. What do you got? You've had time to think about this now.
Yeah, I think amongst the first was back in 2006, back when I was in high school. I had a crush on this girl, and this was back when I was really just starting to get a feel for it. And I think I wrote something. I only remember the first 4. I was like, "I love you, girl. I want you, girl. Come over here so I can hug you, girl." And then woo 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 something. And then I got clowned the entire week for that. Her friends laughed at me. She laughed at me. Needless to say, that didn't get anywhere. But I was like,
no ass.
I'm not writing for girls no more. Yeah, no ass.
Only laughs.
I was like, all right, full scarred.
Damn.
Yeah.
All right, let's drop down to Top. What do you got for us?
I've always been hot, so I don't remember what the bars is, but my dad was a history teacher also at my school. So he found my rap book, you know what I mean, tore that shit up, and then punched me in the chest at school. I got real trauma from the PK shit.
Wow. Damn.
Wow. He always been hot.
Yeah, that's a sad story.
Yeah. I'm curious. Why'd you pick the pen back up after getting punched in the chest by your dad?
Mm-hmm.
Was it rebellion or was it just love for the culture or what?
Yeah, both. Addicted to writing and mad shit. I wish I could see my notes on my phone. I got like 3,000 raps from
who you telling
2024 to now.
Man, I'm with you. I'm right there with you.
Wow. Well, that was. I'm sorry that happened. I'm going to assume you use that for a little bit of motivation and inspiration. Now I know, like in my life, I feel there's things I think back on that were very ugly and traumatic, relating to fathers and stepfathers and family trauma and church trauma, and I use it for kind of motivation. Do you think that's fair to say that this motivated you to work harder or to try harder?
Oh, that's a fact. Yeah, I got motivated by the chest punches. Yeah, no. I mean, a lot of trauma comes with like y'all was saying, grooming young children with religion and church in general and stuff. But I think it could also be balanced by the connection to people and family and stuff. So I mean, I always like to write. I always like music. I play instruments in school and stuff. So I mean, jokes aside, I think my love of music was cultivated by the feeling I get listening to it, the impact that words can have if they used correctly. So
very nice. Well, you've changed back to Volsy Thoughts over there on the bottom, right?
Yeah.
Give us something embarrassing.
I already did in the beginning.
Oh man, that's right. That's right. Okay. We're gonna switch gears here, and I'm gonna go first on this one.
She's about to die.
One of my favorite, and I don't know why. Maybe you could psychoanalyze me why this particular section of a song hit me so bad, but it's this. You guys will know the lyrics when I read them. I'm not going to try to sing it, but it's let's get gory like a Tarantino movie. Don't want to talk it out. Can we fuck it out? Because we're going to be up all night. Fuck a decaf. You're saying I'm a tall thug. Guess I'm a giraffe. If you want safe sex, baby, use the knee pads. Freaky with the sticky icky, baby, give me kitty kitty. I love that whole thing, that whole image of the Tarantino. So no, I thought when I first heard this, I'm like, holy fuck, it's so clever to make a sexual romantic song with a bloody Tarantino thing. Like, so to me, that was just so fucking clever. But what I want to ask you guys is kind of now the opposite. We just kind of went through some early embarrassing or maybe not polished stuff. Let's hear something that you're like feel good about, proud about. You think kind of rings a bell in your mind, like you thought, okay, I was really channeling the spirit or channeling the muse that day. If you're good to go, Buck, let's head up to you. And
I gotta start with me. So yeah, all right. So I got a couple options here. We could go like a little more serious or a little more funny. I'll let you guys decide.
Well, you want us to do a vote? I vote serious.
Oh, you want serious?
You can be both. You can be serious and funny.
Yeah, like, true.
Don't confuse the matter here. Okay, I need one or the other. Otherwise, I'm gonna become paralyzed.
All right,
I'll vote serious.
I'll vote for funny then. Fuck it.
So we got two serious, one funny.
I want to hear a serious one.
Serious.
All right.
I'm always about the serious. So
yeah, make us think, Buck.
Oh God. Okay. So, oh God, I said. All right, here we go. So, man, I guess I'm gonna go real serious here. Oh man. All right. So like it's funny, you actually can't find this music video on YouTube anymore because it's just like it was too like finger waggy. So I took down you can find the song, but the music video. Anyway, so this was me being like really serious, and this was called this song was called God Is What. Okay, this was on my Truth Before Comfort album. This was like at like the height of my anti-religion. I'm not like this anymore. My beliefs are basically the same. I still don't believe in a deity of any sorts. But so the song starts off with it goes, 2 men want to marry. Why is it wrong to do that? According to the Bible, even Jesus had 2 dads. Right. So it starts with like kind of a little bit of silly joke, and then the beat's sick. I flipped this like Busta Rhymes sample. Anyway, so I'll just read the first verse here. It goes, they say God is love. I say it's a lie. Millions of children die before the age of 5. And just think, most parents pray to be spared but he does nothing to help them or doesn't even care. Therefore, he's either impotent or evil. And it's a pity to think that many of these people are going to hell for praying to the wrong God. Hindus, Muslims, Jews, all gone to be tortured for eternity. But certainly there's no evidence for this absurdity that hell awaits them. It just says so in Mark 9, Matthew, and Revelation. Yeah, and while the Hindus get doomed, your run-of-the-mill psychopath killer is exonerated by Jesus. That means Jesus in Spanish. Because on his death cot, he accepts God, and further, he's in heaven now with the kids he murdered. Well, assuming they were Christians, and you believe in this religion, but don't take it from me. It's plain to see in the Bible on any page you read. It's probably been 15 years since I've actually performed these lyrics, just to qualify my subpar performance of that. Anyway,
no worries. We're not judging your music ability here. This isn't like The Voice. We're not going to vote. We won't vote you off.
Dude, you're talking to fucking like what, 6 hip hop artists who talk about like coming hard on the fucking track. Like, I'm not fucking dumb. Okay,
we're all right. We're having a
everybody
vote.
here makes a fucking judgment, and I'm not judging the judgment. I'm just saying that's how it fucking is. Okay.
Who's gonna vote Buck off the island? Just kidding, Buck. Just kidding.
It's okay. I know how to swim.
Hey, so those kind of lyrics, when you come on that strong, that that in your face, was that? What do you look back at that as being cathartic, and you were still learning to be like how to give a message without shoving it down someone's throat, or was it more like fuck you, I'm shoving this shit down your throat because your religion sucks and babies go to hell, or or is it a little bit of both?
This is a nice contrast here. I mean, I haven't given you anything to contrast it with, but like that song for me, like I wince when I hear it. Like, don't get me wrong, like it's sick and the beat fucking thumps, and the lyrics to me are like on point, but my tone is just, it's so much like, that style of religion that I was railing against. You know what I mean? That like in your face, and again, as I started to sort of like de-atheize, I don't know, like I'm still an atheist, but I just didn't care to argue anymore with people. I realized that like I would walk away, with that adrenaline hit, like, yeah, fucking Exodus 21:20. I call myself the flashcard king, like fucking show them. But it's like I didn't move them along any further, like toward my side of things. I just felt good when I walked away.
Who the fuck is your side?
And so it's like look, there's being right, and then there's being effective. And by the way, I'm not even saying that I'm right. I definitely thought I was at the time. You know what I mean? But it's just like so yeah, I don't know. For me, yeah, to answer your question, if I were to do any sort of religious stuff now, I would want to package it more with a little bit of like humor, probably more in like a story, so that you're hearing it passively, so like you hear it happening to you, and not that it's like confronting you. Because I feel like that's a lot to take on, especially if you're still very much on the opposite side of things, right? Whereas like if you hear a story, it's kind of like with comedians, right? You hear a joke and like it makes you think. It doesn't just like close you off right away. Whereas like if I'm coming at you like, well, what about Exodus 21:20? Huh? And you're like, whoa, Jesus is love. And I'm like, not right here. And you're just like, fucking singing songs on Sunday. And I'm like, fuck. So
yeah, I feel you, because the same thing happens when you're just trying to have a conversation about this stuff. That
dude, I argue more with like atheists anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't argued with anybody in a long time, but when I was like backing off a lot, I would like kind of get in little tussles with atheists, because I'm like, dude, I understand where you're coming from, because I get it, but like that's not effective, dude. If your goal is to get people to like say deconvert, or to like maybe change their beliefs, you got to meet them where they're at, dude. You know what I'm saying? You can't just be coming at them like, well, fucking this and that and proof and proof and proof. Obviously, fucking proof hasn't been working this whole time. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Like, so sorry.
Yeah,
anyway, I interrupted you.
No.
Hey, for the record, those rhymes were dope. I don't know if.
Hey, thanks, buddy.
Yeah, dog. Like I thought the phonetic rhyme theory and that was sick.
Thanks. I'll send you the unlisted YouTube video.
Yeah, maybe you could be a ghostwriter for
No thanks.
Grading Square. Hey, before we carry on, before we slide over and Graydon answers this question, we did get a $10. Thank you so much, super chat. Love this convo. Question: where's the online community to discuss ex-Christian rap? I used to hang out on the Christian hip hop message boards and break down lyrics. What is it today? Discord or Reddit? I don't know the answer to this question.
I literally did a song called Extion about being an ex-Christian. I'm not sure if they've heard that song or not, but
Can we get a link in the chat? Somebody have a link?
A link to which? To the video?
Well, I don't know if there was ever a video for it. I think there was just something.
Bummer.
But
yeah. So,
but I mean, it's on YouTube. I mean, I'm sure someone's got a version of it on YouTube.
Probably. Everything's on YouTube. I mean, pretty much. Is there? So, are you guys aren't aware of any online communities that discuss ex-Christian rap specifically, or there? I mean, there must be. There's communities to discuss everything.
I didn't know that half the people on the screen existed until I jumped on this live. So
that's the thing. It's like I call it because when I first went to the studio, because I used to like record all my music in my car with just Apple earphones. But when I first went to the studio, and the engineer, because I told him before I record, I was like, "What you about to hear? You probably don't usually get people come in here and rap about what I'm about to rap about. So like, if you are a Christian, don't press, just ignore me because I still need this session." That's what I told him. When we got through, he was like, "You basically like I never heard atheist rap before." So I don't call it ex-Christian rap. I'll be like, shit, it's like I'm not a rapper. I'm just an atheist that know how to rap. It's like that type of thing. Like
I was gonna say, what's so funny is in the Christian rap world, it's the same kind of. Exactly. I'm not a Christian rapper. I'm a rapper who happens to be a Christian.
Exactly.
Yo, Black. You think we can convert anybody with any of these tracks?
Well, I think. I feel like people who. That's a good question. I wouldn't say we could like deconvert somebody, but I think it'll get the ball rolling and make them think like, damn, what he just said. And I purposely was trying to put little nuggets in. It's like if you listen to what I just said and you really like let that ponder on your mind, I'm not really rapping. I'm really talking to you. I'm telling you some shit. Like I'm teaching you some shit you might not knew. I'm telling you some things that people won't tell you on a regular basis. You won't even hear people like there are people who like are conscious rappers that are like say things like look within and be yourself and all that, but like nobody really condemns religion the whole fucking 2 minutes they own there. And so it's like, but because you got to think. The reason, the whole reason why we started doing this, or why I started doing this, is because I'm like, I listen to rap, but I want to hear fuck God in the song. I do. I want to hear that. Yeah, bitch in the sky. Fuck that. I want to hear that. I need that blasting when I'm on my way to work. Help me get through. Help me stay sane. I'm like, nobody won't do it. Fuck it. Give me I got it. Let me go do it. And look at what you have. You got it like, damn, hey, Black, let me get you on a song. Hey, Black, let's do a song. Now it's eventually coming to a point where we're gonna have ex-Christian rap community that everybody can come to, and like, people hit me up all the time talking about a song. It's like I'm like, bro, all you gotta do is hit me up and send me the beat. I'm locked in. I'm ready. So
that's fire. Somebody in the chat with the "Don't worship God." That don't mean I ain't spiritual.
Yeah, exactly. That's who said that? That's crazy. Cause hey, look. That's crazy because that's in one of the songs we just came up with. We wrote literally. So it's like,
hey, somebody's already stealing your lyrics. Let's get. Is anyone a lawyer in the house?
No, that's my homie.
I'm just kidding.
You let him hear that hot shit. Oh yeah,
that hot shit.
Hey, you know something, Bar? I was thinking the other day that if you ever become like really, really big out there, really, really famous, you and Lecrae might have some beef. You know, what I mean, you know who Lecrae is, right? The Christian rapper.
I do know who that is.
Yeah. I know he gonna throw shots your way. He gonna throw shots your way, bro.
Yeah,
I think
because
Why wait till it gets
like
big? Let's just do it now.
if you, because I ain't gonna lie. I'm one of those. I'm not your, like, I'm not here to. And I told Michael this. He already know. I'm not here to debate them people. Like we can't. I can't date. I said date. Lord, I can't debate mythology with you. No, people need to hear that. You know, if bullshit is bullshit with a period at the end, and it's like I don't know how to sugarcoat what I just said, and I just put what I just said in a song, and it's
I think like I think like it's three people who dealing with theology. Three types of people. It's believers, and then those who have like blind faith, and then my homie who I actually shared the tracks with, children of God. And I think especially as a non-believer, I think some of the time, most of the time, you talking to people who on the opposing side of that, you're talking to a brick wall. And then some of the time, you're looking at people over a fence. And then what make my homie our relationship so imperative to me is like we close to the fence. Like he got a leg through the fence, we shaking hands over the fence. Every person that believe in some way, it's not necessarily just pointless to talk to them and have the debate with them. And I think they can accept the message for the most part what it is. Now, when we on the track just saying fuck God and shit, I think it's hard for somebody who hold that to a higher degree for them to maybe accept that. But I think most of the time you're talking to a brick wall. Like TD Jake's gonna hear the first track, he's gonna hear Idols and cut that shit off. They're just the way I started it. So I think most people are gonna be closed-minded to it.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Bar.
I was just gonna add to what Top saying. I literally and like the music that I'm making is for me. So I'd be like, I get messages all the time. Me and Blathy has made a song called it's called A Tone. People have DM'd me on Instagram paragraphs like, bruh, man, like this song really moved me. I literally had like watery eyes listening to it. I'm like, that's who this is for, because a lot of people can't express what they want to say about these religions and these guys. And it's like sometimes you gotta. That's where the music come in. Music is literally like that form of expression. Like I can't explain it, but this song shows you how I really, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think people they latch onto that emotion, and then they kind of want to know more, and they want to feel more. Now we've had quite a few comments here, Great and Square, singing your praises, talking about your lyrical ability. So we're gonna come back to my question, which Buck so excellently answered, and you're up next. You've had a little extra time to think about it. You have something in mind that answers that question about, well, you know the question. Just for in case anyone's coming in late, the question is, what set of lines or lyrics, or I mean the whole song, if you want to rap the whole song, go ahead. But you know what I'm saying? Like what?
What's the question?
He knows. You're on mute. You're on mute, Graydon.
My bad. No, I was just sort of just considering the sort of higher order implications of the sort of question, because this is gonna sound weird, man, and it's gonna sound weird. I don't know if I mean it literally, but I mean it as close to literally without being literal as I possibly can, which is I believe in the hip hop gods. And when the hip hop gods ask for sacrifice, meaning they ask you to rhyme, you're always obligated to rhyme, or they will take that from you. And I truly believe that in my heart of hearts. There are people who gave their life to this craft, gave their life to this art. And so if you have the audacity to call yourself an MC in any incarnation, and somebody asks you to rhyme, I'm telling this to everybody who ever wants to do this, you have to say yes. There is no other answer. So anyway, but I'll go with this rhyme. Gorgeous disguise. I sit at the bar of infinity, ordering lives, whether joyful bliss or horrid demise. Torn the pleasures, absorbing the cries, inordinate size. Prize, it's cheers to the misery. Why there's even something at all, peers through the mystery. Science is the artisan's god. Here's to the ministry. No, I don't need linear cause. History's history.
Fire.
Yes.
Wow.
That's dope.
Thank you.
What's that from?
You a bad man.
Yeah, you're bad. Okay, listen.
You're a bad man.
The rest of this, the rest of the night, we're just gonna sit here and get a lesson from you, Graydon. Could you
Oh
just
no,
continue?
no. I'm getting lessons from all of y'all, man, because I feel like we all have something to teach. Here's the thing about this. So I've been involved in martial arts my whole life, and when you go to somebody else's gym, it doesn't matter what you've learned outside of that gym. You go in there with the intent to learn what that gym is training, right? And you can come out from whatever gym you've trained at, whatever style and craft you've trained in. But when you go into that other gym, you go in there humble. And I always feel like whenever I'm training with other martial artists, I always come in there with the sort of intent to understand and intent to learn. So I don't ever look at it as, oh, I'm just this guy trying to tell everybody how to do anything. Everybody in here who has put time into this craft has something to teach me about this craft. Otherwise, they wouldn't be on this call right now. So I feel like whenever the sort of it just goes back to the hip hop gods. I mean, I know we're all atheists, and I've explained my sort of definition of or redefinition of atheism the last time we were together, Michael. But ultimately, I feel like when the hip hop gods demand sacrifice in the form of rhyme, you should probably deliver.
What's that?
Amen.
What are those lines from? What song is that from?
There's a song I did called "History's History."
Okay.
Yeah. I could spit some other stuff from there too, if you want. I mean, I don't
Please,
know
please do.
I said, I knew it from the song's title. If all tribal, my crew set to hunt you with long rifle. Attack of the Fates is lost kaiju. Heed the gravitational space. I'm raw tidal. Puzzled a poem, it's all haiku. Peep the ultra combo to face. I've called spinal. Leave the aberration in place for all cycles. Lord of lyric is born, sworn in with visions of war, hordes of the billions of swords lied to. That they tagged me a heartless heathen, when after we pulled off a successful departure sequence, half of me was mad while the rest of was hard to see that the blasphemy to mastery path is a part of genius. So they target us now. We were helping these monkeys climb up the Cartesian scale, leap from the tallest of tales and creep from the harshest of hell, seen in the demon's quelled spell from the start to the hailed legion. He can tell tales through his art to the frail deacon. A planet of fools with nations that can only take you where animus rules. Distance, fate splines and kismet, baselines elate mind, space-time dimension, grace via mention. Mission finds the great climb ascended, with you and I chased by the ending. Predetermined, it's all luck. Your cards suck, so we coming over the top when we call bluff. Either promote or get your pawn stuck. You really have to have the nerve to ask what lies beyond the construct. So
all that just has me wondering who your top 5 is now.
I couldn't wait for this question. I couldn't wait for the top 5 question.
Because when I hear somebody spit like that, I'm trying to hear like, okay, I can see where this rhyme scheme, where this cadence, where this, I'm trying to piece together your Frankenstein.
Well, okay, so let me ask you, who do you think my Sifu is? Who do you think?
So I don't know. It could be anyone from, I mean, by the way your rhyme scheme in there, I'm thinking I would also need to know how old you are too, but
I'm 43. I'll be 44.
Okay, so I'm thinking either Cool G Rap or Nas is somewhere in your top 5.
Cool G Rap.
Close. I'd say a distant nephew of Cool G Rap.
Okay.
So my Sifu is cannabis.
Okay.
Yeah. So I actually had an opportunity to train under him. We did a couple of songs together, and I consider him, if not the greatest rapper of all time, he's definitely, he should be in everybody's top 10 in my opinion. But when we get into the whole, I want to hear everybody else's top 5 or dead or alive, because I think that is the ultimate hip hop question in my opinion. but ultimately it's like Cannabis was the person who
Yeah.
trained me, who validated me, who basically made it so that I was accepted in sort of greater hip hop community. Without his sort of, him co-signing me in that way, I don't know if I would have had the sort of confidence to sort of chase this all the way. But yeah, Cannabis, I would argue, I'd say a prime Ice Cube would be another direct influence for me. MF Doom, Killer Priest, who I think Killer Priest is the greatest rapper ever, in my opinion. But but yeah, I'm definitely curious to you guys, especially like to Only Poet. Like,
y'all gonna be mad at my shit. I'm way New York biased.
That's fine. That's cool, because most of my top 10 has I'm from Compton, and most of my top 10 has East Coast rappers in it. So I can't even.
That shit's crazy. I would damn near have to do 10. All right. Top 10.
Yeah.
Top 10.
Okay.
No,
I'm sorry. I hijacked Michael Beverly's question.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Before we get to that, nobody's getting off the hook scot-free here, because the question is, or not really the question, but more the ask is, give us a top few bars, lines, or you can go a whole song if you want, like something you feel really hits home and that inspired you or inspires you, or you know the question. Do we want to go top or bar? Which we want to go left to right or right to left?
See, bar, we could just do it. We could do both at once. Just play that. Just play that False Idols, bro. They've been wanting it all night. Just play the Idols.
Man,
bro.
look. I'm telling y'all, when y'all hear that song hard, man. But I go first. Like, I got a song. Man, look, when I first heard the beat of the song, it's like, damn, I couldn't even get through. Like, I ain't emotional, but when it comes to rapping, I be emotional, because I kid you not, like I'm saying everything I'm thinking. So every time when I'm in the car, I'm playing songs, it's like, bro, like I really wrote that and meant every word of that. And sometimes I be like I shed tears just listening to my own. I'm talking about me listening to the songs that I spent.
That's how you know it's good, man.
On. I'm like tears coming out. Like, man, I remember having hope. I remember putting.
yeah.
But so this verse is it ain't came out yet. It's on my new album, not the one I did with Top, but it's on the other one. And it go like this. It said, I remember having hope. I remember putting faith in the Lord just to cope. Now I'm here to let you know, having Jesus around your neck will never save you when you choke. It's hard to bear, but I still poke. And you will never see me give up with my back against the ropes. I'm trying to fix what God broke, because the blood of my people got them Bible scripture soaked. Pastor preaching we ain't nothing because he don't want us to grow. Make me walk up in your church and throw them Bibles on the floor. Only right we come together when there's nowhere left to go. People finally waking up, the revolution getting close, bars. And every time that verse play and the song go to every time that verse play, man, I get goosebumps. I just start crying, bro. When I first recorded that, I couldn't even because the beat is it's the emotion. You gonna feel the emotion in that beat when that song come in. Like, damn, this is what I was talking about. Like, man, you feel it in your chest when I rap that shit. I put everything I had.
Won't save you when you choke. That's fine.
I'm talking about that. What they call them damn rosaries and shit. Jesus pieces. That's what I couldn't get that image out. I'm like, bro, they have it. They got Jesus around their neck, but he can't. Come on, man. Come on. The revolution getting close, man. I'm telling y'all. That revolution getting close.
It's coming. It's coming. Okay, before we jump over to Brady, you're gonna go next, Brady. I wanna take a little intermission here, and I want you guys to think about this, because maybe we can talk. This could be another question I want to ask you about. There's a line, you guys all know this, and Hail Mary to the city, you're a virgin, and Jesus can't save you. Life starts when the church ends. Okay, I sang that as a Christian because it's so catchy, but it never struck me at what the fuck he was actually saying. Like, I never got it. It's so weird to me thinking back. So I'm wondering if sometimes when people they're such believers, they can hear this stuff, they can sing it, they can feel it, but they don't get it. And I'm hoping that more people, and I think that's kind of the heart behind some of these lyrics, like what you're doing, what you just sang, Bar, is hoping that people have like a little chink in their thinking process, not because you need them to agree with you, not because you need them to be an atheist. You just want people to think it through. And the first step to being able to do that thinking is you got to put down your dogma. You have to just be willing to say all this stuff I've believed since a child might be wrong. And it's like setting the ego aside. And it's very, very difficult. Anyways, maybe we could kind of get back to that line a little bit later, but I don't want to crash the flow here. Brady, are you ready?
I can be.
All right, take your drink of water, shake out the nerves.
So I might be the only one here who I'm not writing anymore since actually before I deconverted, I stopped rapping. I stopped rapping probably back in maybe 2015. I did my last album because I was struggling with my faith. I didn't have passion to write anymore. 2018, I wrote for a man. I wish I remembered that verse. That would be a great verse to do, but I can't even remember it. I did a verse.
We'll wait.
There's a Christian rapper named Dayton. He's like a battle rap type dude. I did a verse for him during 2020. I was out of the faith at the time, but I still did it for him. But I don't remember it. He never released it once he found out I wasn't a Christian anymore.
Wow.
So I'm saying all that to say I haven't written for a while until this year. A woman online, she's a online counter apologist / skeptic singer. She asked me to do a verse for her, so I wrote something for her. That's the
Shelley
first time.
Siegel?
I won't say who she is until she releases the song, but so that's the first time I've written anything for a while. So I'm going to go back into my catalog and do something because I don't have anything fresh or new as a non-Christian. I'll say this too, and you'll hear why I'm saying this when I spit this verse. Y'all are actually inspiring me right now, like hearing what Bar just did. And, it's inspiring me right now because like I said, I only got good at rap because I got enthralled by the Christian message. And so I got good at rap to tell that message. So rapping now as an unbeliever, it almost feels like I say this, you may have heard me say this before if you've ever listened to my podcast.
The unbeliever is crazy. I'm about to start using it.
It's like me rapping now as a non-Christian is almost like taking my new girl to me and my old girl's favorite spot, because rap was something that I did for Jesus. So to go back to rap now as a non-Christian is like, oh, but me and Jesus used to do that. So hearing y'all spit, I'm like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I can. So anyway, all that is just the pre-roll to why I'm going back into my Christian catalog, because I don't have anything as a non-Christian really to flex right now. So I'll do a piece from a song that I have. It's called 95 Degree Angles, where I tell a story using the numbers 9 and 5. And I'll only do as much of this as I feel like is tolerable for y'all. But if y'all want to hear more, you let me know. So as I do this 95 degree angles, I'll reference a bunch of different 9s and 5s. You may know some of them, you may not, but basically the story goes like this. 1995, the number, another summer evening. It was hot, 95 degrees. No breeze for this young teen. Was 9 years old when he watched his pop leave, which leaves no role model around to guide his steps. He tried to get it right, but only the block was left. 5 years of fatherless living amounts to shoplifting, getting the 5-finger discount at the local 5 and 10, lifting little odds and ends. Never thought he'd have to see the inside of the pen till the 5th time he got pinched. Woke up from his dream, the nightmare begins. 10 years minus 1 for his crime. That's now with good behavior. Neighbor, he did the time. It was 2004 when they let him out the prison housing doors, but now it's him and his 4 boys. Met him on the inside, in for nickel and dime scams or selling nicks and dimes to the man. Now these 5 cats swore they had 9 lives and couldn't spend the next 8 grinding 9 to 5, getting $9 an hour, 8 hours each day. Said there's got to be an easier way to see the pay. So let's take some time and figure things out. A plan for us to hook up and help ourselves out. About 9 months past. Now that's a lot of blunts and hash for these 5 young G's to pass. So one Sunday, 9 o'clock, mom's in his room. Said, "You're coming with me to church, boy. Sunday school." He's thinking it's worth a try. Sneaks jeans and a shirt and tie. On his wrist, something crisp. If you've seen it, it hurt your eyes. Arrived at the church while the preacher's preaching excerpts from Martin Luther's 95 thesis and about Jesus who came to save souls, fed 5,000 heads with fish and 5 loaves, had his back whipped with the cat o' 9 tails, then nailed to the cross by 9-inch nails. But nah, he couldn't accept the blessing. Distracted by his cell, he's checking his text message. It said, "What up, fam? We got a plan for this cash. The Fifth National Bank, the corner of 9th Ave." And it keeps on going, telling the story with the 9s and the 5s. So that's basically how it goes.
That's dope.
Yeah, I fucks with that tough.
Yeah, but it was so good it woke up the baby.
Yo.
He's like, he started going, I'm here for this rap.
Hey, baby, I was gonna say the baby's not off the hook. You gotta spit bars too.
Bars or bubbles.
Bars or bubbles.
The hottest baby babble this side of less than 1 year old.
Can you say something?
He barred everybody. Yeah, he barred us all.
Bodied everything.
He's still waking up. He's still waking up. Man. What do you think, buddy?
Me too.
Hey, say hi, everybody.
I would just exit the chat. The baby started rapping.
Yeah, he started. I'm actually all AI, and it was just a big. He comes out. I'm just a little baby, but I can do a rap. Bring your face over here, and I'll give you a baby slap. I got drool and snot, but my feet are gonna fail me not because I steal from him because I'm not very original. Well, we've been listening to some Spanish language hip hop. You know, he's gonna be bilingual, so I got to remember to switch stuff up. So he listens to everything from Baby Shark to do Baby Shark to War Pigs by Black Sabbath, ACD, Depeche Mode. I mean, it's just Fleetwood Mac. He today we were listening to some Spanish. I don't even know what it is. Spanish. Tsunami, who was in the chat earlier, she turned me on to some Spanish, a female rapper in Spanish. I think young Migo maybe. And so we were listening to that. So you gotta learn Spanish and English, huh, buddy? All right, let's not let the baby derail the question. Poet, Top, the only poet. What do you got?
I said this is on the Me and Bar album. I said acting fools, pretending that they holy and they know God is so odd. The way I'm about to, oh Lord, between Christians and Muslims, they both having a hoe off. Jews is in the Holy Land. Fuck. They so soft, calling the name of a villain in vain, trying to show off with no effects and no cause. Warn over prophets, faking prophecies with no law. They don't know their own books, and they trying to show y'all. I'd rather just say fuck you and your mom, because I'm fed up forcing these stories on my people for $. And they believe what they can't see. They colonized, killed our kings, and made us idolize, dramatize, all kind of lies, monetize.
Bars.
Nice.
Bars.
This album is crazy. I can't wait to
that boy.
I can't wait to listen when this comes out.
It's gonna be on Apple Music, right?
It's gonna be everywhere. Yeah.
Oh hell yeah, definitely.
Excellent. That's a bad
Bar album is fire. I play that shit 10 times a day. He going crazy.
Man, hey, look, y'all. Hey,
I need that.
Born Again is not on Apple Music because of some shit that happened with United Masters, but it is on YouTube. I'm gonna get it back on Apple Music. I'm gonna use DistroKid, but it's on YouTube right now. Y'all gotta go. Like, man, look,
Definitely gotta go.
That's like 4 years of Black Atheist Rant just build like my whole the whole thing, and it's like I got a picture with I was going to a Baptist church in a Catholic private school. I got a little picture of me with my little suit on and shit. You gotta go. Y'all just gotta go. Just go listen to that album, man. I'm telling you.
The album is hard.
I took 4 years on that. I took all my slow, precious time.
Hmm.
And grading. I'm saying this because I didn't get a chance to say it earlier, but when I first like got into the Black Atheist space, somebody on Twitter had DM me, was like, you should check out Grading Square. And so I was listening to your music right in mine. So it's like you know what I'm saying? You got fans that's Black Atheists that you probably like, you know, they probably, you ain't know me, I ain't know you, but like I have listened to your music. When I saw the name, I said, damn, is that who I thought it was? And then when you started rap, I said, it's that motherfucker cold. I said, when as soon as you start rapping, I said, I remember, because I used to listen to your music when I was writing my shit, because I was like trying to pull any type of inspiration I could, but it's like I couldn't find nobody that was like rapping about like deconstructing or like science or like thinking outside the box. And then somebody on Twitter said, man, look, go check out Grading Square.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. A lot of times I don't really think about my relationship to the atheist community because I came around the sort of 4 horsemen time of atheism, like 05, 06, 07, and that was, you know, when I sort of was in the atheist space and doing music about that and that sort of stuff. When I was essentially excommunicated from the atheist space, it was basically like, okay, well, what are you going to do now if you're not going to talk about that? And I kind of went in a completely different direction and started talking about more, you know, science and technology, sort of fringe science, physics and concepts and stuff like that. So for me, it was I chose to sort of go in a different direction, not to say that my ideas about reality have changed, because I don't believe that there's some sort of a creator or anything like that. But you know, I don't talk about it really too much anymore these days, because I don't really think about that time. But I do know that there are a few babies named after me because of that, and you know, a bunch of stuff. So.
Nice.
But I wanted to jump.
I'm humble.
Yeah, I wanted to jump in here real fast based on this comment, asking a Black Atheist Rants, how often are we getting one of these again? This is an unoccupied space. So I know there's some multiple streams going on, so people might be wondering if they're on a different channel, why an old white guy who can't rap and has no voice and has a baby in his arm is part of this panel. So just to answer that, in case anyone's curious, I do a channel that does a lot of different streaming. I do response videos. Brady and I have done stuff. Actually, Volsi, Brady, and Bar were all in a series I did responding to Christian apologists on the issue of slavery. I was doing some research on rap that had a specific atheist, either an atheist theme or atheist rappers. I was looking for some. Actually, I was searching for some of Bar's music too, because I like to use little snippets in my intros in my videos, and I ran across Grading Square, and he was talking to the Connectleys, and it just kind of shocked me. And then I started listening to his music, specifically the Omniverse, which is also a cool video. And wow, this guy is an amazing lyricist, and it's super cool. So I reached out to him, and we did we did one recording, but I broke it into 2 parts. So this is a long-winded way to say, and I'm not patting myself on the back, is I'm the one that put this together. So it's not like you guys didn't all just say, hey, let's get together. I'm more than happy to host something like this again. But my bigger hope, and I think Buck and I'll let Buck give me flowers on this one. I'm a glue person. Like, I'm a connector, right, Buck? Like I get off on making people be friends. Is that fair to say?
That's 100% fair to say. Yeah. That's weaving the social fabric. Michael is the loom. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I love that.
I always thought Loom would have been a great rap name. There was a rapper named Loon with an N, but Loom, like the thread sort of thing, would have been. I thought that would have been dope.
Yeah, look, Loon became Muslim, and then he got arrested for drugs and stuff like that, I think.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Loon became Muslim.
Bad Boy too? Is he part of the Bad Boy curse?
Yeah, he's part of the Bad Boy curse. Yeah, because
damn, man.
it became
Anybody who ever even rode an elevator with Diddy is fucked.
yeah,
Like,
bro. It's a lot.
Not
It's a lot.
Pharrell. He
Well,
said
not for
me
real.
and Puff hopping off the plane, both us laughing. Like he's doing fine.
Hmm.
I love
Let
it.
you tell it.
Mhm.
Well, we got one more lyricist to go, right?
Yeah, I think I was the last one.
You are
Technically, you were the
up,
first,
Vol-
actually.
But
Yeah.
okay, can I request one thing? Is when you do this, can you take Volsi thoughts off and put your rapper name?
Oh yeah. I could
Please,
put my rapper name.
Please.
I could definitely
And-
put my rapper name
And
on
as
there.
you're retyping that, I'll give you a second to think about it.
Wait, I want to ask Graydon a question real quick.
Yeah, go for it.
Graydon, how does it given, unless it's changed because I haven't talked to you personally in like 6 years ish. How does it feel given your position on children that you've had a couple kids named after you?
That is the irony of it all, right? As being an antinatalist, it is weird to have that sort of irony, which
Right.
is like, you know, I don't subscribe to the idea that it is a sort of moral good to bring consciousness into reality without its consent. But there are kids who are named sort of after me as Graydon, whatever they are. And it is unique. I will always tell people this. I'm just famous enough to know that being too famous is uncomfortable, and I was able to dial it back just enough to where I don't have to have the problems like which actually did happen. You know, people show up in my house or get my name tattooed on them and stuff. You know, stuff like that, where it's like, you know, it gets real in the field. But ultimately, like, I've been doing this for 20 some odd years, 23, 24 years. I got a long track record of kind of hopefully sowing my my lineage into the fabric of not only this community but hip hop, because I feel like you can't tell the story of hip hop without me. I don't care what nobody says.
Dude.
That's facts.
And what's that term again? The natal, what is it?
Antinatalist.
Oh, antinatalist. Yeah, antinatalism.
All right.
Mike, you're up.
MC Brain Freeze.
Yeah, it's mine.
I like brain freeze. You said, what am I gonna do? Just call it brain freeze. I was gonna be like, yes.
I was thinking the same thing.
I agree too,
Yeah.
man.
All right, cool. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do brain freeze.
Brain freeze.
I could put a little brain freeze because I'm a short guy. I'm only like 5'5", so I could put a little.
No, the reason why I made the comment I made was because at the beginning of hip hop, like in the 70s, people had MC on the name because the MC was the master of the ceremony. By the 80s, they were taking MC off.
Yeah, it became Lil and it became Young.
Yeah. So that wasn't even until the 2000s, right? So that's why I was like surprised that you said the early 2000s and you had the MC as part of your moniker, but hey, you do what you do.
Yeah, exactly. All right. So mine is gonna be a little different, y'all, because Akapod, right? You said that you actually wrote for a Christian battle rapper before. I'm into battle rap heavy. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm into that heavy, and that plays a little into my content that I do because I actually am a debater. I'm the one who actually does debates. I've been trying to get Bars to be part of my debate streams for a while, but he doesn't like them. He doesn't like debate streams. I know he does like we be on TikTok a lot, and I know he jumps on panels sometimes, but it's just to make fun of him. I'll be saying that he just does it to make fun of him. But I actually do debates. The only reason why I see value in that is because I think it's good to normalize, you know, people who look like us and actually being non-believers. You'll be surprised how many there are. Of course, we know there are a lot of Black Christians out there. Most black people are Christian, and you'll be surprised what they think about us, you know, still to this day. You feel me? Which is why I kind of do the discussion debate thing so they can see that we're actually normal people and not these angry folks who hate Jesus or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's kind of why I see the value in it. And I see people, when I do these discussions, people actually come up to me before and said that I've made them change their mind or understand a lot of, you know, things that they didn't never heard before, like the verse in Leviticus about slavery. Whenever I've debated, you know, that Yahweh isn't moral because of slavery, you'll be surprised how many people do not know that verse in Leviticus or, you know, believe in apologetics about it. And I can debunk it in real time. You know what I mean? So that's the only reason why I kind of like debating and do it, because I've been debating since I was young. I always thought I was gonna be a lawyer. I'm studying to be a therapist now, which is kind of crazy being a debater. But I always thought I was gonna be a lawyer. But there's a little preamble of like what I do, right? Battle rap is, I've always said, it's basically WWE. It's basically violent thespian poetry. You know what I mean? But if you really think about it, it kind of becomes a debate. You know what I'm saying? So you're debating who could come up with better lyrics, essentially. So what I'm gonna spit here is basically like battle rap bars that I remember doing when I was in like battle rap groups and we used to text each other. So that's what I was just doing all right now, right? I was just typing out some of the things that I can remember. So one of the things that I wrote, right, and I actually won this battle with this bar. I don't know how I won, but I won, right? One of the things that I wrote is remember. I was gonna just a little preamble. Battle rap is violent thespianism. All right, so these lyrics are not gonna be very, very kosher. They're kind of violent, right? So one of the things that I wrote was, my whole family with the shits, so you better keep your mouth closed. Even my mama pops like a single parent household. Yeah, yeah. I said even my mama pops like a single parent household, right? So. And when I kept on going, all right, me and you are different. You white trash, my rap exposes traps, so I flow different. You smoke packs, but I make packs. That means we roll different. You like to break niggas down. I like to build them up. Our goals different. You walk on Jordans. I mentor a boy named Jordan. Even our soul different. Get it? Like the Jordan shoes, the soul, and my soul, like, because I mentor young boys. Yeah, so I said our soul's different, right? So another one, I was in a battle, and I wrote this. I wrote, when the beef is up, you know shit's about to go down. We ride up, then we break your door down, tie you up, roll you and your peoples down, put all our nines up, and you get all shot down. So that one kind of won me to another battle. And another one that I thought of when I was in that sphere, I was actually making fun of Christians, right? Because that's the time when I was coming out of Christianity, and I was like, this is blasphemous. But I kind of came up with it, and I say, what did I say? I say, like, we come down the block, keep creeping up real slow. I don't walk by faith, but I drive by though. Yeah, that was another one. That was another one. So yeah, I got all battle rap lyrics. I don't have what you guys got. Y'all got y'all got things that you know break it down. But me, it was all just yeah. Me, it was all just battle rap stuff. Hey. But the fact that you said that you wrote for a battle rapper, now I gotta expose him. You know what I mean? I gotta find this guy. I gotta say, hey, you had somebody writing for you, bro. You can't.
Well, no. So when I say wrote for him, I wrote a verse for a song with him. So I didn't write, I didn't write his piece. No.
Okay. Yeah.
I actually, to this day, like, I still watch like the battle rap URL and all that. I still watch it every day. So
yeah, I still watch it.
You know, hearing you bring that element, I'm like, that's nasty. That's cold. That boy said mom pop like a single parent household.
Yeah. That would have gone crazy on Gnome. That would have gone crazy on Gnome if I said even my mom pops like a single parent.
That's hard, bro.
Yeah, that was hard. But yeah, that's kind of lyrics that I do. But yeah, it's fun. Battle rapping is fun. Like and you know, I love to kind of write those lyrics. Me and I be telling my girl that she got to battle sometimes, you know, because she be coming up with bars. You feel me? Babe, you got bars. You got to start battling. She said no, y'all. She said,
it's crazy.
Hey, I thought that was dope, by the way.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. And definitely gonna give you a follow because I've been wanting to talk about, you know, hip hop and secularism for a while because every rapper you meet, whatever award they win, Grammys, BET awards, who do they always think? It's always the same thing. They always thinking, you know, the big guy upstairs, and we need way more skepticism in this genre, and in my opinion.
You done made a song about shaking ass and shooting people. You talking about thank God. Like, okay, all right.
Well, all right.
You know, well, I want to jump in there because somebody had said something about we need more black non-believers, and somebody that was AR's comment, and then somebody wrote, "There are a bunch of us." Yes. There are a lot of black and other like non-white or different. There's different niches of like not just us white guys. I think that the face of atheism and, you know, the Four Horsemen and that whole thing. One of the things that I've tried to do with my channel is reach out to not just other white guys like myself. I've really made an effort for that. I'll pat myself on the back a little bit, but I'm not saying that because I want to pat myself on the back. I'm saying that because I want to challenge other people that are listening to this or come across this later, especially big YouTubers. If you have a big channel and you're not reaching out to Black atheists, especially Black atheist women, if you're not reaching out to some trans folks or, I don't know, Asian ex-Christians or anybody that doesn't have a voice, and you can't talk to everybody, and I'm not trying to lay guilt trips here. I'm just saying reach out to more than just another white face. There's a lot of us out here, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with our experience. Or our experience is part of the landscape, but try to reach out to more and different people. And I think one of the things people are afraid of is being rejected or feeling uncomfortable and not always getting the answer they want. And I just got to say, look, you got to grow a little bit of a thin skin. I mean, a thick skin. You can't go into it with a thin skin. Bar and I were talking about, so Bar and I have been doing stuff. We're friends now outside of YouTube. Like, Bar is my brother. I love Bar. We talk outside of this. And he was telling me, and I hope you don't mind me sharing this private conversation.
I know exactly where you're going. I don't mind.
He was telling me, I want to do this more like what you're doing, Michael. And I said, brother, I will help you. I'll introduce you. I will encourage you. You just got to go fucking do it. Like, you just got to write that email. You got to reach out to Graydon and say, hey, we met on Michael's stream. I want to put you on my channel. You got to reach out to Brady because Brady does deconstruction stories. And you got to say, brother, I want to be on your show. Now, he might say no. I mean, Brady interviewed me, so the bar is low, brothers. The bar is low.
Well, let me just say this right now. First, thank you, Michael, for doing what you're doing in terms of making sure that you include other and, like you said, different faces and voices on your show. And the offer does stand to everybody on the stream right now. Every Thursday, I do a show called Exit Strategy, helping people think about exiting. And I do a series called Life After Faith. I would love to interview each of you to hear your story about how you ended up a Christian and how you decided that shit is not for you. So the offer is open and standing, and I will be either going through Mike or find a way to get at each of you to make that happen.
Oh,
Absolutely.
definitely, because I started following you, Wikipod, like probably last year, as a matter of fact, 2024. And I was like, man, when I come up, I'm gonna get on this guy's show. I need it, you know. So yeah, definitely, sure. I'll definitely reach out.
Yeah.
Wikipod, I seen I watched the whole. I ain't coming in the chat, but I did watch the whole thing. You did a stream with Durante.
Yes.
Yeah, Durante, that was great.
Man, I sat back like, man, this is what I'm talking about. I was like, I was sitting back like this, just chilling, like, man. I tell Michael all the time, I put this shit on the big screen. I'll be watching this shit laying down in the bed. So like,
good stuff.
I have taken the step. I've been trying to, like, I mean, if I showed you my message on TikTok, I'm DMing just, hey man, look, you know, I want to start having people on the channel. I'm just sending messages to everybody. I try to be like, when I first became an atheist, the first thing I did was go to YouTube. When I typed in Black Atheist, Matt Dillahunty came up.
Yeah. Matt Dillahunty and Mandisa Thomas. That's the first thing that came up for me, too.
I said, wait, like, what's going on? Like, what a Black atheist? It wasn't none. Like, what the fuck is going on? So I said, you know what? Black atheist, I said, it might be time, brother. You might have to pick up your cross.
Well, the funny thing is, you mentioned watching me interview Durante. When I interviewed Durante, I was saying, yo, we need more, because I knew about Mandisa, and I knew Black non-believers as an organization, but on YouTube, I didn't see very many. And so I told Durante, I said, yo, because of his voice and just some of the stuff he was saying, I said, yo, there's space for you, yo, you should do this. He was like, nah, you think I could?
He been killing the game.
He been
50,000 followers now.
He going,
you know what I mean?
that man videos, those are gospels.
Yeah.
You understand me? I mean, talking about, like, that man is going, like, I'm just looking at him like, Brian, look.
Yeah.
He going crazy right now. And I'm like, man, I want to just sit back and I'm just like amazed. Like, every video is like,
I'm adding all his videos to my face. I'm like, God damn it, eventually I'm just gonna have to just go scroll down his page and add all. I'm talking about, man, dude, man. He one of my favorite. Like,
let me tell a quick story here, and if you sense that I'm jealous, yes, I'm jealous. I did a feature on him when he had less followers than me, less subs than me on YouTube. This would be February of last year.
Yeah,
he had like 600 subs, and he reached out in the comments, hey, thank you for doing this. Like, I didn't interview him. I actually asked him to come on my show, but you know, he was too big growing his empire. but I did a feature of him, and he thanked me for it, and his wife thanked me in the comments. And anyways, then he just took off. So that's the jealousy part. I'm like, so I recognized the talent long before most people did, because it was super early. Yeah, and who knows? The YouTube algos are weird. I mean, we just, you know, this is something that Bar and I have talked about before. You really encouraged me. You said, hey, we'll get there. We just got to put in the work, and we got to remember that if there's just one or two people listening to us, and we're telling our stories, or we're doing the work, then it's a good thing. Like somebody's hearing this message, and somebody that needs to hear it is hearing it. And yeah, we don't always have to have, we want to have the big audience. Of course, I'm not going to deny that. I want to have 1 million followers and etc. But we don't have to have that to be effective. We don't have to have the giant channel to reach people. Like, I get messages from people that thank me and little super chats, and you know, I have some people on Patreon and people that are members. Yeah, I mean, and it feels good. And I know people get stuff. Hi, somebody just showed up and saw the two different Graydon and Be Good and Brady on the same panel. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome that you guys were able to do this, and somebody wants you all to do it. Got to do a track. Yeah, you guys all got to get together.
I just responded to that person. I'm like, yo, I'm retired. Like,
yeah, retired.
I wouldn't.
You know,
I wouldn't.
We just heard you. We just heard you.
You heard me do a song from. You heard me do a song from 2008. So like,
all right. We won't. Okay. Well, there was another comment up here. Somebody wants to do a monthly rap battle for Atheist to crown the cult leader. And so, well, what I want to know, Brady, would you at least show up for a rap battle once in a while? Like, I mean,
when you say show up, you mean show up to participate?
Yeah. Like, it's not
Brady is the perfect host, dude. He could be the MC.
I'll host. My pride would not allow me to, unless I can pick up a pen and feel that ink flowing. I'm not getting in a battle to embarrass myself.
Right. Okay. But you'd be willing to MC it. That's
for sure.
Okay.
I know my lane.
All right, fair enough. I will have to take this under advisement. Okay. I want to keep talking as long as possible, but we hit the 2-hour mark, so I want to make sure that you guys, as my guests, don't feel you're obligated to duck out. So anyone needs to duck out, duck out. Anyone that needs to stay. I was watching Bar the other day, went like 6 hours. We're not going to do that, Bar. Like,
no, I'm sorry.
I've seen you fall asleep. I've seen you literally fall asleep in a live stream. We're not going to do that, but
I do it for the love of the game, man.
Yeah, no, I love it. And if it's just you and me, we'd go another hour, no problem. So anybody here that needs to duck out, raise your hand, say goodbye. But I'm not asking anyone to.
I'm a dip probably around 10:30 my time.
Perfect. Okay. So
yeah, I'll probably be dipping out a little bit too. I'm streaming right after this. So right after I jump off of this, I'll be jumping on my own stream.
Okay.
Everybody jump on Graydon's stream after this and just continue.
Yeah, just spam.
More than merrier. More than merrier. Because I'm gonna be playing music and talking about
okay
like that. So
do you have a link for that already? Because yeah, make a link, because PC will probably be more than happy to put your link to your stream, and we can do a stream raid over to your channel. Yeah.
Tomorrow is my 1 year wedding anniversary, so I might seamlessly slide out of here, and then I'll just be silently in the chat.
Yeah,
congratulations.
All right. Understand.
Congratulations, bro.
Congratulations.
Yeah, that's awesome.
We celebrate.
Got married and did our own vows, so we ain't have to, do that coach shit. My dad's a pastor, but he already knew what it was, so He married us with none of the religion involved.
Excellent.
That's what's up, bro.
That's how my last marriage. my last marriage was January 4th in the hospital room. Jessica was in a gown ready to go in the next day for a C-section, and my daughter called me and said, "Hey, if I'm going to be able to see my brother, he's probably going to need a passport, and with all the stuff going on in America, you guys need to be married before you pop out that kid." She told me this like on Friday. And I'm like, well, I don't know if we can get married that fast. And she's like, Dad, if you love me, you'll do it. And I'm like, all right. So Jessica called all her cousins and we got a government official to come to the hospital on Saturday. We did the ceremony and signed the papers. So we were legally married. So Steven is officially not a bastard, because I guess that's a bad thing to the Americans for getting your paperwork in America. And God knows how it's going to be with, I don't know. If Trump continues on this path, they'll probably deny him his citizenship because he's too Mexican or something. Who knows what's happening in America. But he is an official Mexican. We did the ceremony. He did his little thumbprint. It was super fun. And so that's cool.
Damn,
just to be clear,
I thought you was talking about Trump was a Mexican, not the baby. Damn.
Just to be clear, a C-section in Mexico is still cesarean. It's not a yes section. Just I wanted to make sure in case.
Oh, a yes section. Well, they push C-sections down here just because it's easier on everybody and they can schedule it and they make more money. Mm-hmm. And that wasn't our original plan, but that got sidetracked when you had when the baby showed up. Well, no, but it wasn't that. The reason we did a C-section because he was 6 weeks premature. Like that wasn't a plan. It was like, holy fuck, we gotta. You have only a certain amount of hours to get the kid out, or it risks infection. And if this had happened in the olden days, they probably both would be dead. I mean, that's just the reality of what happened. But because of modern science, thank you, modern scientists, they were able to, do a ultrasound, check the amniotic fluid, and say, okay, no emergency, but we need to get the baby out of there within like 24 to 36 hours. And that's what we did. And yes, we went straight to the NIC, and Steven spent 2 weeks in there, which is the NIC is the worst place on the planet and the best place on the planet. It's the best place because it's saving your baby's life, and it's the worst place because you feel helpless and your baby's sort of suffering. But anyways, it all worked out, and he's going to be a drummer. I think that's my hope, or some kind of musician. I'm going to give him the opportunity to pursue his dreams. And his uncle won The Voice in Guadalajara, but Buck did some video work for Jessica's brother, and he won The Voice. He's got an amazing voice, and he's going to start giving Steven voice lessons pretty soon. So maybe not for a year, but he's got to say some words first. All right. Before I go on family history anymore, let's go back to the question I had about the line from that was the Jay-Z line about life ends. No, Jesus can't save you. Life starts
where the church ends.
So I'm singing this and other songs as a Christian. I got introduced as a Christian to Eminem, and I thought hip hop was this terrible non-music, and who would listen to that garbage, blah, 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 blah. I was very Christian and very conservative. Mm-hmm. And a coworker said, dude, you got to just listen to Eminem because the lyrics are you'll find the lyrics interesting. Now, of course, eventually I graduated where Eminem wasn't my favorite rapper. It was Drake. And then, of course I evolved, and now Barr's my favorite rapper. Because he says, fuck Jesus, fuck God. Anyways, so my question was, and Graydon says he's got to jet out of here pretty quick. So let's go to you first, Graydon.
Yeah, about 10 minutes. Great.
Let me hear your thoughts on that. So my question is sort of an open question. It's like, what do you think's going on? And I know you talk a lot about helping people think and intellectual stuff. What do you think's going on in my brain as a Christian when I'm singing that song with full passion? Life starts when the church ends, and Jesus can't save you. I'm singing this as a Christian, in my car or whatever. But I'm not thinking about what it is. I'm not thinking about what the artist is trying to convey to me.
I mean, is it possible you could be disassociating with, you know, listening and consciously processing what is being programmed into you? Because I do believe that I don't particularly do this because I in my opinion, that I understand how susceptible my subconscious brain is to this. So I don't try to listen to things that I feel like are gonna program me subconsciously. But a lot of people turn off their conscious programmer and they kind of go on autopilot when they listen to music. They're not really listening to music to think. I think all of us are unique in that we like to think. We have big questions about reality. We have big questions about the nature of existence. And a lot of people aren't listening to music for that. A lot of people are listening to music to escape that, really, because the weight of that for a lot of people is way too much existentially. So they're just like, let me just listen to something about bitches and hoes and getting money. Because at the end of the day, they can relate to that. They can channel that. They can use that for motivation and their sort of everyday life. You know, you talking about or pontificating or speculating about the nature of God sounds good in theory, but doesn't really help them too much if it's not putting food on the table, if it's not, you know, putting their children in school and giving them a better life. So I feel like you were probably disassociating with what you were sort of being programmed with and what you were actually listening to and how you were enjoying it. That's why I say a lot of this is just a dopamine chase. We all have our sort of dopamine chase. I think hip hop for me was and has been a big one. Now it's sort of creative storytelling and getting into that. But just this idea of creative dopamine shots are always something that I've been chasing. And the underlying programming, whatever that actually is, a lot of times I don't even care what that is. And I know that about myself. So I'm really careful about what I passively listen to.
Yeah, I think you're hitting the nail on the head with the disassociation there. Because when you're saying that, I was also thinking about watching porn as a Christian and never really thinking I'm nailing the nails into Jesus even more. You know, you totally disassociate. Go ahead, Buck.
Yeah. So for me, I don't know if this is the greatest example, but this to me is a perfect example to emphasize this point of disassociation. I don't know if you guys ever been to like a corporate work party, company party, or just the club, and the song that comes on, "It Ain't No Fun." If the homies can't
have none, it ain't
every
no
motherfucking chick in that room is fucking singing that song. Perfect lyrics to the fucking window, to the walls, right? To the sweat.
Yeah.
And it's like, but if you actually listen to the lyrics, like there's, as far as I'm aware, and it's a great song. I'm not dissing the lyrics, but I'm like, I would be outraged if I were a woman. I mean, it's totally derogatory. You know what I'm saying? It's like Nate Dogg's verse, like, I'll call you when I want some, and then
some of us are probably thinking about the Chris Rock comedy routine where he talks about rappers talking about bitches and hoes, and he asked the woman like, "Yo, how could you listen to that?" And her response is, "He ain't talking about me.
He ain't talking about me." Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah. Well, there you go. Even
I got holes in different area codes.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking around going like, all right.
But I'll say this, Mike. I was still in the Christian community strong when that song came out. And so I know very many Christians who did not just hand wave away that line. There were people who were ready to use that as proof that Jay-Z was part of the Illuminati. There were other people who, even if they didn't buy that conspiracy, they still thought that line was over the line. And so I don't know why you might have been able to not take offense to it, but I know very many Christians who took that personally. Like that was a shot against them and their faith.
A sign I was not a real Christian, I'm sure.
Yeah, just like how
they don't be taking it seriously enough. It's too. I don't think the Christians, a lot of them really even believe it. Because if they did, they would act different. Christians wouldn't know about Jay-Z and Little Kim and LL Cool J if they really believed, if they kept the Sabbath holy and wasn't of the word and all the rest of the fucking Dr. Seuss in that book. They don't believe it or go by it at all. And it ain't just Christians either. It's the Muslims. It's all.
Yeah.
You
I,
know,
I remember when I was in the church, just like how Be Good said, like Jay-Z and Beyonce being devil worshippers and part of the Illuminati was a huge thing. A huge thing. You know what I mean? Like almost every single Sunday, people will be telling us, oh, you know, Jay-Z is spreading demonic messages through the lyrics. I remember when YouTube first came out. This was during the years when YouTube first came out, and there were pastors putting their whole sermons on YouTube. You know, back then it was only 10 minutes. So I would see like 7 parts of their entire sermon. You know what I mean? Trying to play Jay-Z lyrics in reverse. And he's saying, you know, he said 666, murder Jesus, you know, and I'm like, bro, you're just playing something backwards. You know what I mean? Back then I was very, very skeptical about all that. And I remember when Beyonce had her alter ego, Sasha Fierce, and they were like, oh, Jay-Z introduced her into the demonic realm and Sasha Fierce is now like a satanic succubus.
Right, talk about that spirit cooking and all that. There's a whole rabbit hole you can go down with that conspiracy theory.
Yeah, exactly. And I was all like, man, y'all. Even when I think that was during the time in my Christian faith where I was like, yeah, there are a lot of people in this that are insane, bro. Because what the hell are y'all talking about? It's just a song, you know. It's just a song. But everyone, you know, back then they were on a Rebecca Brown kick. I remember Rebecca Brown was a woman who came out with a very, very popular book and said that, you know, Pokemon was Satan, Digimon is Satan, you know, yoga is devil worship, all that. You know, she was on all of that, and that spread. Yu-Gi-Oh, anime, and like all of that was the devil and Satan. Vegetarianism, she even put that on the list. You know what I mean? So it was really big in these communities to spread that. I think she even came to my church, and I'm like, y'all, this woman is insane. She has problems. She literally said that someone opened up her brain and they saw demons dancing around in it. She is insane. Why are we listening to this woman? You know what I mean? But it spread throughout the community, and I think that was the first time I became very, very concerned of, you know, Black people believing in anything, or like being in Christianity and believing in being gullible to believe in anything. It really concerned me, you know what I mean? I think that's probably what kickstarted my entire deconstruction journey, just that entire era. Where it's like, no one's being skeptical about this. This woman literally said that there's demons dancing in her brain. Y'all believe that? You know what I mean? So it really, so that was a big thing back then, especially Jay-Z being Satan, a wizard man, you know?
I read that book, and the advice, and the best advice in that book is, if you're ever fighting with the werewolf, don't shoot it and kill it, because it'll change back into a human and you'll get arrested for murder. That whole thing was just totally insane, totally crazy.
Pretty good.
That whole era was insane.
I remember my mom telling me that if she had heard this from like Pat Robertson, if you play some music backwards, you're getting a demonic message. And of course it's of course it had to, how else could you explain it? Like, it's Satan, obviously. It's totally Satan. There was a lot of bizarre stuff. I was just thinking, thinking about stuff we sing, going back to what Graydon said about sort of like disassociated. I remember one time singing a song, you and me together fighting for our love, and it was super popular on the radio. And my brother pointed out to me one day, because my brother wasn't a Christian, he deconstructed very early. He said, "You realize that song's you and me together fighting for our love this is a gay artist, and he's talking about sex with a man and stuff." I'm like, really? Like, I didn't know what I was singing. And because you just don't think it's got the lyrics are cool and the beat's cool and it's on the top 40. Back in my day, I'm much older than all of you, I think, by a lot. Our family was not wealthy. Like, I didn't own cassettes at the time. When I was a teenager, CDs that I don't even think they'd just barely come out maybe in the early 80s. I didn't own that. If I wanted to listen to music, I was on Kiss FM. Like that's how, I couldn't afford anything else. So it's definitely a different kind of a different era. Does anyone else have any thoughts on that whole disassociative thing with what Brady said about people in his community where like, hey, wait a minute, this is, he's part of the Illuminati, this is satanic, or he's trashing Jesus. Does anybody else have that experience, or am I more in the bigger group that just sings whatever song comes along and doesn't even think about it?
I mean, a lot of kids in my church were disassociating, just like how Grayton said. We would sing or rap all these terrible lyrics about robbing people and getting bitches and hoes and sex and drugs and murder and everything like that. But then we'll be at church Sunday morning, like Louie, and singing all the church songs and everything like that. It was a lot of disassociation. What I mean, where we'll say, oh, God knows our heart. A lot of that was happening. So yeah, we especially for the young people, we would love like the secular music, but then go to church, which is why when I was in that phase, the Christian rap phase, we would use secular beats, but just change the lyrics to Christian. Like that whole who's that guy, Fetty Wap. When Fetty Wap came out with baby, won't you come my way? You had a lot of Christian rappers saying, Jesus, won't you come my way? yeah, we would remix it all the time.
Obscene. That's obscene to do that to Fetty Wap. Come on, those people need to repent.
Wow. Oh, definitely. But yeah, that was a thing back then. We used to still disassociate all the time. I'm not sure if anyone else has the same type of story, but that's what we were doing as kids.
Like Kids Bop for Jesus, where they take like the regular rap song and like
put Jesus in there somehow, some way. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Man, look, when it comes to rap music, like, man, a lot of times, man, black folk, we gonna vibe out. They're like, I think I think the whole, like, for the most part, it's like, man, they believe in Jesus Christ, they go to church on Sunday, but after that, man, they turned up all week.
All week.
So whatever to the window, to the wall all week, and then on Sunday, put your Sunday's best on, go in there and get your worship, get
your worship on.
Praise on.
Wow. Yeah, I would have been on my judgmental tip back then. Like, if there wasn't time for no one way on Sunday and then some other way on Monday through Saturday.
They call them lukewarm. The
lukewarm Christians. Yeah, there it is. Lukewarm Christians.
Playing with Jesus.
Yeah,
but see, for me, well, go ahead, Bob.
No, I was gonna say that used to be a big thing. We used to say, "Oh, y'all lukewarm Christians, y'all not on fire for Christ." They used to say that all the time. They'd be like, "If you deny me in front of the world, I'll deny you in front of my Father." They used to tell us that all the time.
Oh, they love that shit. Boy.
Oh man, they love that. Yeah, but yeah. Well, my bad. Be good. What you were saying?
I was gonna say, for me, I don't know if it's as much disassociation as it is. I came from a place where you lived the lyrics, like, you know what I mean? Like, or at least you, to the best of your ability, like it was your culture. And so for somebody who was able to listen to it and distance themselves from it, it was almost like, okay, you're a tourist. You're not really from here. But if you're from here, like, don't just be singing this and you ain't really about this. Like, what's your life really like? And that was me as a non-Christian and as a Christian. So I didn't have a category I did have a category. The person that was just a listener and you could sing things that didn't really apply to you. It was like, okay, you're not in the inner sanctum. You're not in the inner circle of this thing. And so I don't know. I think even as a Christian, I would have been looking like, oh, if you can sing that says something about where you are in relation to the truth that's being, or the idea that's being presented here. But that may have just been me taking it way too serious too.
No, I think a lot of people did that. And I'm just flashing on something that was really, to me, was very important. I could sing stuff that was about like maybe sex or rock and roll or stuff that wasn't wholesome, because to me, it was sort of, could be in the fantasy realm, but I would not sing anything that would be like Highway to Hell or something satanic or something that would open the door to a demon. So somehow in my mind, I had this pride about not listening to hard rock and anything. So the bizarre thing about this, I was just telling this to Dr. Kip the other day. I'm like discovering all these great songs like AC/DC and Black Sabbath. Me and Steven get down to this stuff, and it's like we'll turn it up real loud. And I was singing. In fact, I put the lyrics on to Highway to Hell, and me and Steven were singing that Highway to Hell. And I'm thinking in my Christian days, I could never do that. Never. That would have been totally opening the door to Satan. It would have been so bad. So it's really bizarre to me. Now, the positive side is there's a lot of great music out there that I can now listen to for like the first time.
There's stuff that I'm listening to now that I would have never listened to as a Christian. I'm curious. I know Graydon's got to get ready to go, and so do I. But Graydon, a minute ago, you talked about even today not listening to certain things because you don't want to dwell on certain things. Could you speak more about that? Because you're not approaching it from the superstitious angle that Michael's talking about. Oh, he said, hell, I can't listen to that. But what do you use as your grid even today to make you say, like, nah, I draw the line at listening to X, Y, or Z?
I think that's a fascinating question. I think it comes from the perspective of understanding that people in very high and well-funded places spent trillions of dollars figuring out how to program people. And I think there is a well-funded industry in subconsciously programming people to certain, buying habits, certain behavioral habits, and that sort of funnels people into certain lanes and certain outcomes in society. I think it's, for better or worse, I think it's one of the things that have been sort of proven throughout the last at least 100 years that you can program people to behave in whatever way you really like, through TV, through music, through movies, the whole nine. You can desensitize whole populations for things. And so for me, the last time I listened to the radio was before I went to the military. And I remember coming back from Iraq and basically turning on the radio the first time. And I couldn't believe what was on the radio. I was just like, why are all the songs terrible? And I really felt like that. I'm not saying this to shit on these dudes, because I'm sure they meant well and they had a hit record and I've never had a hit record. So who am I to judge? But you guys remember that song from Smiles and South Star?
Hey,
With the high pitched voice?
you think it's going on?
Yeah, that shit, right? So that was popping when I came back from deployment, right? That shit was fucking hot. And I know it was a hot song, but in my mind, coming from like cannabis rap, right? I'm coming from, Rakim and KRS-One and Cool G, right? And all these super lyricists and shit, right? Boot Camp Click and all these dudes, Sean P. And I'm like, what the hell is this? Like, I was so offended that this was representing hip hop that I was like, I'm done. And I basically stopped listening to the radio altogether. I don't think I went back since listening to the radio. And it wasn't really because of that song. There were other songs. That is the song I remember the most from that time that kind of made me like, nah, I can't do it. Because I kind of knew what was going on. I was being defanged. I felt like there was a certain fight in me that I feel like the powers that be wanted to clamp down on, wanted to tamper down on, wanted to dull the sharpness of that blade. And I'm glad my tag team partner, Tombstone the Deadman, is in there, because he often talks about this from an ex-Islamic perspective, right? We all come from the ex-Christian perspective. Y'all should get him in here. He was the first atheist rapper I ever knew. Before I even was burst onto the scene, there was Tombstone the Deadman out of Baltimore. And like, that was, you know what I mean? But it wasn't circulated because that wasn't what he was just talking about, but he talked about it. And there were other sort of rappers going around who were sort of experimenting in the space. But I just think that when you talk about the sort of notion of how people are programmed, it became very clear to me that I was being conditioned for a certain set of, or series of outcomes in society by listening and watching certain things. Didn't have anything to do with religion, didn't have anything to do with, you know, my beliefs in a supernatural creator being or anything like that. I just realized that it once you can print money into existence, then you can pay to study people and to alter behavior, because you can just spend indefinitely on studying how to do that effectively.
Well, that leads, I know you got to leave here in a sec, Grandin, but could you segue into, you named a few things, and before you had said you really did want to answer this question about like the top 5, the ones that really inspired you or that you think are so great, and you just rattled off a few names. Was that your list, or is there any other thing you want to sort of throw in there?
I mean, if I had to pull up my list, I did write them down just so I would remember. But I would say if I had to pick 5 MCs on some like these top 5, dead or alive, if the aliens come and they're like, we trying to battle y'all right now, we're from Mars. And it's like, all right, 5 Earthlings that's going to defend the Martian lyrical invasion. Number 1, Master Ace. I feel like Master Ace is a lyrical red belt. He is a grandmaster. He's one of the most lyrical Titan dudes I've ever heard of. Number 2, Sean P. If they get past Sean P, we're probably screwed anyway. So it's like, you know, whatever. Number 3, Rakim. I mean, Rakim is going to be the dude who, in my opinion, is going to be our sort of Reed Richards. He's going to sort of come up with the solution sort of thing. You know what I'm saying? Of course, we got Eminem. We need somebody crazy and psycho and able to do something. And then MF Doom, right? Like, how are you going to get past Doom? So those 5 against the Martian or the Venus or the Pluto lyrical invasion, I got those 5 dudes against really anybody. And I know there's a lot of fans of a lot of people out there. I'm not disrespecting them by not having them on that list or nothing like that. But I feel like if you ask me my life on the line, lyrical dudes that I just know can absolutely annihilate from opening to end game, it's those guys.
Nice.
Excellent. Hey, has PC put in the link to the stream that you're going to? You said you're going to do some singing songs.
Put it in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah. I was actually going to probably continue the hip hop conversation over there. I mean, you know, talking about top 5 kind of got me motivated. And
yeah. Okay. So what I'd like to do, because my baby's getting crazy here. I would like to send the whole audience, everybody here, over to raid your stream, and we can shut this one down in a few minutes. So, everybody, let's close this down with a
word of prayer.
With a prayer, yeah. I know. With a prayer, dear, you're gonna pray to Steven. Dear Steven, grant us our wishes. We love you. You're the perfect baby. You're sinless. You're perfect. Yeah. So if you want to go next, Brady, you want to throw out? It doesn't have to be 5, but some of the top lyricists or people that you think
this is
are
a hip hop conversation. It at least has to be top 5. So I'll rattle off my top 5. And my list changes, which I think most people's list changes from week to week. But my top 5 would be Royce the 5'9", a guy named Pep Love from the Hieroglyphics, Rakim, and then my last 2 slots would probably be maybe Busta and Redman. So
that's a great list.
Yeah, it's a very good list.
Excellent. Bar, you want to be up next?
So I'm thinking about. I've been thinking about this the whole time, and so for me, I want to do like these not my top 5 greatest rappers of all time, but this is like if you sat me down and said like who do you listen to on a daily basis, or like what actually like drives you to rap, I'm gonna say these 5 just because these are the ones that's like my style, kind of like it's like you can hear bits and pieces of them when I rap. So it's not no particular order or nothing like that. I'm just So number 1 is Lil Wayne. He is in my actual all-time top 5, but like this is one of my biggest inspiration because I'm a mixtape baby. I listen to all the dedications. I mean, front to back to front. So
yeah, all dedication.
Lil Wayne, and I know Yeah, Lil Wayne is number one. Number two, because I'm from down south, I'm from Memphis. I gotta go Young Dolph. Just because I grew up watching him. You know, he from the same neighborhood as me, so I say Young Dolph. Number three is, of course, the what they call it, the one that took the throne once, you know, Young Dolph passed away. I'm gonna say Key Glock, number three. Number four is my original partner in crime. He would have been here with us tonight. Blatant Blatheist. That's who literally got me into rap. This exact same thing happened where, like, I met him on a stream, and then I was like, "You ever thought about doing music?" He was like, "I know how to rap." And I said, "Well, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna sing you." And I literally started rapping. We started rapping at the same time, and like, I gotta put him on the list as well, like, because I literally listen to him, and that like motivates me to keep going. So I got Blatant Blatheist, and the fifth one is I said Lil Wayne, Young Dolph, Key Glock, Blatant, and number 5 is
It's always hard.
Yeah. I say Kendrick. I say Kendrick Lamar. Just because when I listen to that Sing About Me, Down the Third song, I cry every time.
Yeah.
And that literally, I've been trying to like listen to that and pull. I listen to that song all the time just to try to pull all the inspiration I can from it. So those are like the top 5 that I listen to that like I try to emulate them. You know, I'm the younger crowd. I ain't number 27, so it's like that's who I pull from, like them. And that's it.
Can I go next?
Sure, you're up.
Because I don't want to go last.
I'm sorry to do this, guys. I got a dip.
Hey,
right, buddy.
have a good one, man.
All right, y'all will be hearing from me. Mike, thanks for doing this.
You're welcome. Thanks for joining me, Brady. Have a good one.
So what here's why I didn't want to go last is because I just like I'm overwhelmed with thinking of who's influenced me, and I can't quite label it down, but I do have my top 5 favorite hip hop albums. So I'll just list those off and just give you kind of an idea, although this isn't necessarily the inspiration for my lyrics, but these are the albums that, like, if I was stranded on an island, I would have them with me. Number 1, Mobb Deep, The Infamous, obviously. Number 2, Camp Lo, Uptown Saturday Night. Number 3, Midnight Marauders, Tribe Called Quest. Number 4, The Awakening by Lord Finesse. And then number 5, Diggable Planets, Reachin'. I just realized those are all East Coast.
That's a good list. Those are dope albums.
Yep. I've been trying to get more into my East Coast.
Yeah, no, not bad at all.
So Lord Finesse, especially on the production, that guy is definitely probably one of my favorite producers for sure. Havoc, obviously. All right, cool.
All right, Brain Freeze or Passage. Which one of you all wants to go next?
I'll go. I'll do it. I would say my top 5. These are the ones that the lyrics of people that I can remember the most. I think because they struck me and they stay in my head a lot. I will go with Nas. SD Nas. I'm surprised no one has said him yet, but Nas, Andre 3000. Like Outkast is you know, they're stamped legendary, and like Andre 3000, I would say Big Boy is a great rapper, and I'm never gonna say Big Boy is not a good rapper. He's a great rapper, and people sleep on him. But I think Andre 3000 is just like on a huge level. I'm also gonna say Lil Wayne. Yeah, I mean, I was listening to Carter 1, Carter 2, Carter 3, all the dedications to just today. I Can't Feel My Face. I've been listening to all of them. Yeah, I mean, I'm also gonna say Lil Wayne. The first person that I even remember was Pac, so I got to put Pac on my list. Not just as a rapper, but just as an artist overall. Yeah, I mean, I think Pac was an artist. And the last one, I would say, yeah, just like how the last one is always hard. Yeah, the last one is always hard. I would say it's a tie between Kendrick and Lupe Fiasco. The two. Those are two of my favorites. It used to be J. Cole, but you can't buy out of battles, bro. You can't bow out of battles, J. Cole. So now, yeah, I gotta take you up my top 5. But between Kendrick and Lupe.
All right, sounds good. Last but not least, Passage.
I'd say Papoose.
Papoose.
Let's see who else. GQ. Last one. There, Sean Price. Like one of my absolute favorites of all time.
We missed 2 of those, right? Did anybody else miss 2 of those?
I think I did.
It's Papoose, GQ, Sean Price, and who are the other 2?
Pharoah Munch and
Pharoah.
Who's the last one?
you faded out on the last answer. It's a mystery. It's a mystery.
Elzai.
Oh, Elzai. Elzai's
okay.
Oh, Elzai. Yeah. Elzai's dope.
Well, gentlemen, I can't thank you enough for joining me tonight. This has been amazing. I know there's a lot of fans out there. A lot of people were happy to see this group get together, and so I was glad to be part of helping to bring it together. Go over, if you guys still want to continue this discussion, over to Graydon Square's channel. Jump on over there and give him some love. Continue the talk. Audience, thank you all so much. Thanks for sub to all the different channels. Everybody, we're shutting this one down. Adios, everybody.
Peace.
Peace.
Love.